I am Lady Braven of the Pride, and I am passionate about inspiring, encouraging, and empowering people to be brave during this transitional time in human history, whatever we'd like to call it, the Great Awakening, the COVID lie, all of it. There's a lot going on in the world, and I think it's really important that people are encouraged during this time to be brave and stand up for themselves and their loved ones in the face of government corruption and medical tyranny. Today, I have one of the authors from my very first book, Courage During COVID. Her name is Sarah Choujounian. Did I say that right?
Very good.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here, Sarah. I would like to introduce you by reading out your bio in the book, just so everybody has a little bit of background and who you are, if they don't know already. Okay, so Sarah Choujounian has been a nurse since 2004 and has been working in the nursing home for the greater part of her career. In 2017, she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which was the catalyst for her life-changing actions. Through natural healing, she was able to get completely clean, lost 60 pounds, and healed herself from most of her fibromyalgia. She has done extensive research on psychology and trauma and initiated an organization called Lightingupdarkcorners to empower survivors. She is known to be the voice of the voiceless, and she intends to keep it that way. She is now the co-founder of Canadian Frontline Nurses, an organization aimed at uniting nurses and keeping their oath to do no harm by speaking up against these draconian measures and restoring medical freedom. She envisions a future where healthcare is based mainly on preventative care, natural treatments, and treating the person as a whole, meaning caring for the mind, body, and spirit as one. I love that. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I love that the spring is coming. It's kind of like rebirth is my favorite season, and I'm feeling a lot better than I did during the winter.
Me too. I love the spring. It's like all these possibilities and opportunities, and love is in the air. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless if you have an open mind, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you were one of the very first authors for my first book, Courage During COVID. Thank you for sharing your very brave story. Your story is chapter number 7, and it's called A Voice for the Voiceless. And I would like to read out a small portion of your chapter, but I don't want to give it all away. I want people to go out and buy this book because it's so powerful for encouraging those who may have a similar situation or a situation that they can resonate with, that you are describing in your chapter, and seeing how you've overcome that with such courage and compassion and integrity. That is what inspires people to start taking action in alignment with their own values, in the direction of their own goals. So thank you again for sharing your story, and I'm going to read out a few little paragraphs here.
Awesome.
It's always good for me to practice reading out these chapters because I don't know if I told you yet, but I'm turning this entire book into an audiobook.
Oh no, I didn't know. That's so awesome. I'm so proud to be in that book.
Yes, by popular demand. I really think it's important that people get the physical book in their hands because this is a part of our history, but there is a large percentage of the population that doesn't necessarily read books anymore. They like to listen to them while they're driving and while they're house cleaning, or, we're busy, right?
Yeah.
So I decided that I was going to convert all of the stories into audio. So
that's awesome.
So I consider this practice time for my narration skills.
Cool. I'll tell you if you do a good job.
Okay, thank you. Okay, A question that people ask me often these days is, how did you discover the courage to speak up? People think being courageous means the lack of fear, which is absolutely wrong. Courage is the act of doing something even though you are terrified to do it. It is a no-brainer for me. I've been here before. I have experience with being uncomfortable and petrified of doing something, but doing it anyway because I know it's the right thing to do. When I left my ex-husband, there were many times where I feared for my life. By overcoming that situation, I learned that on the other side of fear and discomfort lives peace, growth, strength, and wisdom. When people ask me what they can do themselves to stop these tyrannical measures from continuing, I recommend they simply stop complying. This can all end today if we all decide to stop. People need to be aware that these measures are not only harmful, but they are also illegal. The mandates go against our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Therefore, all the fines do not stand in court. And I thought this was really important, but given the fact that this was written over a year ago. So what I really wanted to ask you, Sarah, is like, so much has happened over the year. And why do you think that humanity in general and people in general are just not simply stopping to comply? They're not waking up, or they're not seeing the big picture, or they're just going along with it. They're still complying. Why do you think that is?
I think that there's a lot of reasons, mainly fear. Some people are not even aware. They really think that this is real. But I think that the main thing, and a lot of people have cognitive dissonance, which is when something is a threat to your livelihood or to your way of life. So it's like for nurses, if they decide to really look into it and be like, oh my God, like I'm harming people, then they would have to stop working. Right. And then they would have to let go of that paycheck. And that uncertainty is really difficult because we've been raised and programmed to think that we cannot adapt, which is so wrong, because we always do. When you follow what is right and your truth, there's always doors that open. I strongly believe this. So yeah. I think that the main thing is that we've been programmed. We live in a society where we are disconnected from ourselves immediately from birth, whether it be through toxic stuff they put in our bodies, or just they don't teach us how to go within and look inside. And so and that's why there's what I said that I did, like I've been through this before. I faced that fear, but I think that if I wasn't connected to myself when I spoke out, then I wouldn't have spoken out. What do I mean by that is that I did some healing work for my trauma, because I had the fibromyalgia and decided to go the natural path, the natural way. I had to go and look into my trauma and my childhood and my past. And that really helped me reconnect with myself, because a lot of us, everyone has trauma, obviously. Right. We always think trauma is a big thing, but no, it's a lot of little things, and it's part of life. It's just something you have to overcome and look at. But I think that when you have trauma, you're fragmented. So you're not whole, and you don't really know who you are. And in school, they don't teach us to know and self-study and self-discovery and know who you are. And so I did my work, and I was able to reconnect with my inner child and really look into my life and get all those fragmented parts and put them back together. And that helped me to know exactly what my values were, what my beliefs were. And I also found out that anytime that I move away from my truth, I start being mentally unhealthy again. So it's detrimental for my health. And so that's why I spoke out, because I was deteriorating so much, and it was just the right thing to do because I'm connected to myself. And so I listened to my gut, my intuition, And it just tells me the right thing to do. I believe that we all have this universal compass, but we've been like not taught how to use it. And so that's why people are all over the place, because if people were connected to themselves, this wouldn't be happening. And you know, the people at the top know this very well, and they work very hard to disconnect this any way they can.
I agree with you 100%. And that is the best answer, because I really do believe that teaching people how to be brave is very much a part of engaging them on their own soul journey of healing themselves, healing past trauma, and then expanding their awareness, and then elevating their frequency, and then opening their minds to possibilities and opportunities. Now, this is the first book, and I'm sure that you already know this, but it's green because it aligns with our heart chakra. The second book, you didn't know that?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. The second book is Speaking Truth to Power, and I also have two of the Canadian Frontline Nurses in here, Crystal and Nordia.
Yes.
And this has a lot to do with the tour that you guys did across Canada, and speaking out and educating people against the dangers of the vaccines, and just about natural health.
Yes.
So this is blue because it's in alignment with our throat chakra. And then the third book that just came out is The Brave, Ascending Human Consciousness. And this is about everything that you're talking about. It's about all of the healers, the empaths, intuitives, all of the shamans, the breathwork facilitators, the natural health facilitators. And what they're doing is helping to heal past trauma, to release that energy that's been trapped in our bodies, so that we can elevate our frequency, expand our consciousness, and open our minds, and basically wake up the third eye. So it's activating the third eye.
Oh my God, I didn't even know the third one was out. I need to get it. I have the first two ones because, you know, we have people in it and we're selling it, but I didn't know about the third one. So I'm going to have to get that one. That one looks very important.
Okay. And also there is a fourth book I just want to touch on quickly. The fourth book is going to be called The Brave, Manifesting New Earth. And it's all about visualizing the possibilities and opportunities for humanity moving forward in a positive light. So taking our mind off of all of the negative agendas and focusing on the direction that we want to go. So Manifesting New Earth is all about new healing modalities. It's about becoming more self-reliant and self-sufficient, exiting from the 3D matrix of control. So I'm going to start working on that project in the next month, because I'm kind of busy with the audiobooks and with the marketing and promotion of this book and all of the books right now. But I want to get back to you. I just wanted to touch on those because yeah, your answer brought up how do we teach people how to be brave and stand up for themselves and simply stop complying? Well, a lot of that has to do with their own personal journey of healing and awakening to the reality of what's actually going on the planet. There's a lot of people out there that still believe everything that they're told by the government and by the media, and they don't even understand that there is a depopulation program at play here, and there's a lot going on. So yeah, helping people wake up is really important. So, you know, a lot of people talk about in the fall, what happens in the fall when the flu comes back, and are they going to bring back all the mandates? Well, if they do, that is a possibility that could happen. But if they do, I'm going to be busy all summer trying to teach people how to be brave and how to stand up for themselves and how to awaken their mind and use their third eye, and how to heal past trauma, how to elevate their frequency, so that if we're faced with the exact same thing in the fall, people will just stop complying.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That will be awesome.
Yes. Yeah, so that is what my path and my journey is all about. I'm like passionate about inspiring people to be brave in the face of government tyranny and medical fraud. So, okay, now back to you, Sarah. A lot has gone on since you wrote this chapter in the book. That was a year ago. So you guys did the tour across Canada. How was that for you to share your story so publicly and to help encourage people to stand up all across the country? I'm so jealous. That seems like such an amazing experience. How was it for you?
It really was, because it honestly, like, that's what I wanted to do. I want to be a speaker and I want to inspire people and I want to help them, heal. So for me, it was amazing. Actually, I thought I'm not a real Canadian patriot. I mean, I guess I am now. But I thought Canada was super boring and I wasn't like that excited to see any of it. And I'm so lucky. Kristen is all about like nature and she knew everything. And so did Helene and the other girls.
You guys went you guys went right out to like the island, Vancouver Island, didn't you?
Yeah, all the way to like the end of the island to like Tofino. And it was amazing. The whole of Canada was so amazing. I mean, obviously the people were great. We met so many amazing, outstanding people. And we got to talk to so many new people that we didn't know or didn't know who we were. So we got to grow, but also like just to see the landscape and how amazing this country is just gave me the strength to fight even more, if that's even possible, because we're doing everything we can. But
you really got the opportunity to activate your own throat chakra, speaking truth to power, standing up there and sharing a part of your heart and a part of your experience and your soul with all of those people.
yes.
So I'm sure you had your own speech and you had your own important talking points, but how many times did you think you got to share that? You must have gotten really good and confident in your speaking abilities.
It's so funny because I'm so nervous every time before
Me too.
speaking. I usually have like my paper, and I like to read my speech because I like to like not forget anything and have these specific words to inspire even more. So it was actually really difficult for me because we kind of let go of that speech thing like out the door. It was more like introduce yourself and what you want to do, and then people were asking questions, so you can be ready for that. It was just
right.
So it was really stressful at first. Actually, every time I get nervous every time I'm going to speak. It's like a big thing for me still now today. Although I am getting a little bit better at it. I think it was awesome because it was received so well, and people think we're so amazing. And for me, it's just like, I just want people to know that they're just like us. It's just that they have to like go for it.
Right.
So a lot of people thinking we're heroes, and that's just, we're not heroes. We're people who did what's right and believe that everybody should be doing that. But then again, it goes back to and I'm very grateful. Like, it's awesome. Honestly, all my life I was that kid, like I was a very humanitarian kid, and I fantasized about like saving the world, like it was my thing. And I also have issues with not being enough and not being important, so it was always a big fantasy of mine. And then it's funny because when fantasies come to life, they become a little bit like nightmares. Because you get death threats and all kinds of things. It really wasn't the way I had fantasized it. But being called a hero is kind of a little bit overwhelming because we don't want to be above nor under anybody, right? We just want to connect and let the world know that we're all together.
Right. So my definition of a hero is somebody that others can look up to and aspire to. And I think that we need these heroes in the world because you guys whether or not you like the term hero, you guys are setting such a powerful example of what is possible and what everybody else across the country can do themselves and what they're capable of. But you guys are showing the way and setting an example, and you're doing it from a position of a registered nurse or a nurse or whatever your title is. Like, yeah, and those are the people that we're supposed to look up to and respect and admire. But at the beginning of the pandemic, and I talked to Kristen about this yesterday, at the beginning of the pandemic, they were the ones that were put up on a pedestal as heroes.
Yeah.
But
Did not like
and
that.
everybody was banging pans at 7 p.m. But they were, you know, they were saying the hospitals were full and they were making TikTok dance videos. So I don't believe those were heroes.
No, they weren't.
I think you guys, for standing up, for speaking out, for taking all of the backlash and losing your jobs, losing, you know, your security, your income, losing all of those things, that is extremely brave. That's why you're in my book. Yeah. And some would consider that heroic. But that being heroic, in my definition, doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. It's just showing an example.
Yes, you're right.
You're right. What is possible.
Yes, and I love that kind. Yes, I do want to be that kind of hero. I just don't want people to think that I'm something else that they're not, because the whole point is them figuring out that they can do it too, right?
Well, and another thing about your story, and I don't want to give too much of it away, is that you share so much of your real, authentic life. And when people read this story, I think so many women are going to be able to resonate with your experience and the challenges that you went through. So thank you again for doing that.
My pleasure. That's the whole point of it too, right? It's for people to see that are victims, to see, hey, maybe I could do that too, you know, and start thinking about it, like planting seeds, right? Because anyone can do it. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because like you said, so after the book, we went across Canada, but I had lost my job. I'm a single mom of 3. You know, and I was a homeowner, and I was already in so much debt. I had 2 jobs, 2 nursing jobs that I lost. And I mean, a lot of people came to my help and donated, and I was very blessed. But it came time that I had to really start thinking about selling my house. And so that was very difficult. But also I didn't want any more ties to the government, because I'm telling people to become more sovereign. I don't say that well. I'm French, so did I say it well? Sovereign?
Yeah, okay. I think that's what
yeah. And I had the fear that the government was gonna, you know, if the economy falls, then I would just have, and if I had to like run away, or I don't know, like whatever had to happen, I would lose the house. So the whole trip was really, I had a lot of like, I have to sell my house. I have a lot of anxiety. So it's been quite difficult for me. But I did sell my house. I made so much money because the economy is so high. It sold like way high, like double what we thought it was worth. And then I got rid of all my credit cards. So now I don't have that kind of stress too. So I'm trying to tell people, like, it's time to sell your house, because we're also like so connected to these titles of landowner, you know, homeowner and landlord and all this. But now I'm free of all that. And so a lot of my anxiety dropped from that, although it was so difficult to do the decision. Now I feel free, a lot less anxiety. And I was able to start again working on grounding myself and not worrying about these other things. And so working on healing, which brings me to what I'm doing now. So I was able to refocus on that.
Great. And tell me more about Lighting Up Dark Corners.
So Lighting Up Dark Corners was actually founded, I would say, before the pandemic. But I had a nursing job. So, you know, when you have a job and you're doing something on the side, you're not as serious as if you have no job and now this is your mission in life. But it was all put into place. And I think, everything happens for a reason. I really believe I was born and built for this. Everything I had gone through. I was trying to get Lighting Up Dark Corners, which is created to empower people to heal and rise. Back then, it was only from sexual abuse, but now I've kind of made it for childhood trauma, because I think it's a lot of the same similarities, and everybody needs this, right? I didn't want to just focus on that, because I realize now it's huge. I mean, and the trauma from this pandemic too is so huge. But to help empower people to heal and rise, but most importantly, and it's so amazing how it goes exactly with what Canadian Frontline Nurses mission is that for me, I healed myself without the prescription drugs. And it's to show people how to go to the root cause of their mental health issues instead of numbing with toxic and often lethal medications, and how that could be done. And it doesn't just stop at trauma, it's all the somatic illnesses like the fibromyalgia. And, bringing awareness to the fact that, fibromyalgia is actually, they say they don't know what it is, but it's all about toxicity. Right. And ironically, toxicity is obviously trauma, but also like the food, the air, the water we drink, medications we take, and their way of dealing with it. And they say it's a long-term disability is to give you, a medication for every symptom you have. And fibromyalgia has an unlimited amount of symptoms because it's toxicity. And so people would be taking the medications and getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And then it does become a long-term disability. So really to bring awareness to people that, somatic illnesses and trauma, you can recover from that, and not just recover from it, but become the best version of you that you could be, because it shows you how to be whole again and really find who you are, and therefore find your purpose. Like for me, like it's like all the trauma I've been through and all the struggles I've been through in my life are now used to propel us, me and others, into the new paradigm, the health paradigm that we want to create. So
absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, because I feel like everybody who is showing up at this particular time with passion and purpose, and they have these ideas, these new methods of healing, these new unconventional ways of processing past trauma. I consider them light workers. I know it's just a title, but I feel like you're definitely a light worker as well. I'm a light worker. I started courage coaching in 2017, way before the pandemic. I started teaching people how to be brave. And then the day before the pandemic was announced around the world, I was giving a speech at our local Squamish Adventure Center. There was about 200 people there, and we were talking about how to be brave in life and business. And that was the day before the pandemic was announced, and the whole world fell into fear. So I really do believe in divine providence, divine purpose, divine timing, and that we're all stepping in right now. We're stepping onto our path and our purpose that we have been preparing for our entire lives. Yeah. And a lot of that trauma that you went through, a lot of the trauma that I went through in my life and overcame, has taught me so many things and given me the skills that I needed to be the person that I am today. I don't know if you knew this, but I fell down for a living for 20 years. I was a stunt woman in TV and film.
Oh my God, no, I did not know. Oh, that's so cool.
I know, but it's funny that I was falling down for a living.
That's brave.
Well, and this is why I started teaching people how to overcome their fears, because I think I faced almost every physical fear, but I also faced my fear of judgment, criticism, not being good enough, being rejected, all of my emotional fears, they all came up working in the TV and film industry. It's one of the most superficial and materialistic industries out there. So you're going to be confronted with all of your fears, including the fear of acting, the fear of public speaking, all of these fears, right? Yeah. So, and then when the pandemic started, I walked away from that career because I was no longer willing to wear a mask. Well, I've never worn a mask. I didn't want to get tested. I didn't want to do the social distancing. So I fell down for a living for 20 years, but now I'm standing up because I have something to say and I want to teach people how to be brave. So I believe that you are on your divine path with so much purpose and passion. And I think that everybody that is standing out and speaking out, all of the authors in these books, I believe that they are following their own divinity and their own path.
Absolutely. 100%.
So Lighting Up Dark Corners, there is a website. If people want more information about Lighting Up Dark Corners.
Yes. So, and I just want to clarify. So it's for childhood trauma and it's for people that are starting their journey. So it's really like the basics. And it's giving you the tools and knowledge needed to get onto your journey. But I also do it in a group setting because group therapy, I think is super important. I mean, we're social beings and, you know, isolation is trauma and connection is healing. And so doing it in a group and seeing how, oh, you're not alone. Like everybody, like most people that go through this will also act like this, and this. And so it helps people drop the shame, but also it helps people have like aha moments. Like, you know, someone else will be talking to you about what they're going through and you might not have thought about this, but then you're like, oh my God, I do that too. And so I think like healing is like you have to do it in group settings. Right. And it's part of it's the program that I did. It's not the same program. Obviously I've made it mine, but I did this program and it completely changed my life. Right. So it's like, I've seen people that have done 30 years of therapy, one-on-one with psychotherapists and they came and did this program and they were like, their healing actually moved. You know, because like I said, it's giving you the tools and knowledge needed to do your work. And what I'm doing now is I just started, I did my first free workshop on Sunday. I wanted it all to be in person, but I'm realizing that, you know, I'm going to have to do it online now. So I'm actually just starting. I'm going to offer it online, a free workshop online on Thursday, April 14th from 8 to 10 p.m. so people can register and I'll send them the link. Right. But it's really and I'm really happy because and I want to do this across Canada. So I'm thinking of going across we're going east this summer, probably for 3 weeks with Canadian Frontline Nurses, but I might also go west after as Lighting Up Dark Corners to do these free workshops and give these tools to people that need it. And then people that are really interested can actually go ahead and we can do the 10-week program, which is not free. Right. And so that's what I've started now. That's what we're doing. I'm really excited about it. Because I mean, just doing the free workshop on the weekend was like, oh, it's so healing. Like I can see that it's helping people. And I'm just so excited. Right. Because I used to facilitate before the pandemic and I had to stop because everything was online. But not just that, they're all victims of sexual abuse and they're all wearing the mask and super scared of COVID. And I was trying to tell them like, hey, did you know that this, and I was triggering people and so I couldn't facilitate anymore. And so that was very difficult for me because facilitating is also part of my healing journey. Right. So I'm really excited to redo it again. And yeah, I think like people got so much out of it. We had 6 participants and all 6 loved it. We had people register for the 10-week program, which is really cool because the in-person one, we're doing it at the gym with Huff Gym. It's a gym in Mississauga. She stayed open. It was one of the gyms that became like really big because, you know, the police went there and it was like a big thing. They became very popular. So I found out about them through that. And I'm a big weightlifter. I stopped drinking and I started going to the gym 2-3 hours a day. And so I wasn't going to the gym neither. So I started going there and now we've partnered. So it's like, every week it's 2 hours of support group and then we'll follow it with 1 hour of boxing so that you know, we talk about all these things that might
perfect.
frustrate us, and then we're gonna do some.
And then you get to release that energy.
Yes. So I'm really excited.
I just wanted to comment on the in-person versus online therapy and courses. And just from my own experience, I know that there is so much value in being face-to-face and being like in person, and even having that that connection, like your heart chakra and energy goes out about 6 feet. So you can actually connect with people that are better, that are right in front of you.
Yes.
But I also want to say that I have attended a number of meetings, therapy meetings online. And if it's a small group, like not too big, but maybe 6 to 10 people, and everybody's on there, and everybody is still, you can see everybody, you can see their energy, you can see their expression and their emotion, and they're sharing from the heart. I have gotten quite emotional. I have released a lot of energy, because energy is emotion, in energy and motion. And I mean, I think that sometimes in some situations, online courses for therapy in this way can be also effective. But then I can also see the value of connecting with people in person. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I wanted it to be only in person, but and you're right. It could be very helpful, and it will always be. I can't, and what I really worried about is that I cannot feel everyone's energy online. And if someone becomes like in crisis mode because of something we spoke about, I worry that I won't know. And then, you know what I mean? And then something, I don't know. I guess I go to the worst case scenario, but obviously we do a check-in and check out. And if someone's not well at checkout, I guess, you know, we would, I would stay with them and make sure that everything is okay and send them to the appropriate places. So it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yes, I can help a lot more people that way too. But the end, I would like to have for it to grow, and I would like to have like somewhere I call a lighthouse. And it's funny you call this, like, I'm like, people are like, well, you won't be able to call yourself a nurse anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm a light worker, like lighting up dark corners. Like literally, I light up.
Love it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so cool that you're saying that, because I'm like, well, that's what I am. Like,
Well, I'm not big on titles because there's so many different things to call people, but essentially in my mind, a light worker is somebody who lights up the darkness, lights up dark corners, and they have the ability to transmute that darkness, to take that darkness in and work through it and release it without projecting it onto other people. So a light worker is capable of taking in the darkness and working through it and releasing it without, I just repeated myself, but yeah, that's in my mind, that is what a light worker is. And that's quite obviously what you're doing.
yes, I'm so excited about it. I'm like, sounds so much cooler than a nurse. Well, not to say that nurses are not cool, but at this point, not as cool as we used to be, I find.
I think Canadian Frontline Nurses are pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we're pretty cool too. You know, I've never been someone to have like such a, I don't know, I don't think it's ego, but me and Kristen I'm like, Kristen, man, we're so awesome.
You know what?
Because I can't believe, like, sometimes it's like, oh my God, we're doing this. Like, it's so awesome.
And you have every right to be so incredibly proud of yourself. Don't ever take that away from yourself. What you are doing is monumental. It is big, and it is helping people all across the country. So yes, you should be very proud. I'm so incredibly proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And there's millions more behind me that are also very proud of you.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to go back in case people want to get a hold of you with regards to lighting up dark corners. The website is www, and I'll put all of this information in the description below of this video.
Yes. So it's lightingupdarkcorners.com.
Okay, and is there an email?
And then my email is lightingupdarkcorners@hotmail.com.
Okay. And then also Canadian Frontline Nurses. .ca.
Yes, Canadian Frontline Nurses.ca. And then if you go on both websites, you can see all the social media links there and follow us on social media.
Okay.
But Canadian Frontline Nurses is to email is different. It's cfln@protonmail.com.
Okay, got it. And I'll put all of those links and information in the description below. So, and what have you got going on right now? Like, what's happening in your life right now? What are you focused on?
So like I said, I'm just starting the workshop. So Lighting Up Dark Corner is coming to life. Spring is here. We still have a lot of speaking engagement and, you know, going to meetings and educating people. Of course, we're always going to do that. But even more exciting, we're creating the directory. So, you know, we've been doing a lot of activism and fighting the government, but there comes a point where, you know, we tell ourselves, like, we're free right now. You know, if you're fighting for your freedom, then you're not free.
Right.
So we're at the point where, you know, it's time to create. We feel like, of course, we're going to keep advocating. We're activists, but we also want, we've been talking about the new paradigm. So we're creating the new directory and trying to get nurses to come out of this present system and empowering them to become self-employed and follow their passion and purpose and do the caring, the real nursing job that they really had in mind that they were going to do. And so we're going to give them that platform. We're going to educate, but also there's going to be education. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for them to get into that, the self-employment field. And we're going to be there to help them through that. But also very important is we want our communities to become independent and healthy. So we want to get people out of the institutions, out of the hospitals, out of the nursing homes, and stop having that mentality where they're patients. We don't want patients. Patients are victims. And when you're a patient, you think that something from the outside has to come and heal you, which is false. The only person that can really heal you is yourself. So we want to call people active participants, and we will help them and empower them and teach them preventatively how to be healthy, but also how to help themselves when they are sick. And this is going to be from birth to death. And so we have people now, nurses that are doing a birth companion course. So I don't know if you know, but giving birth in the community is a lot safer than giving birth in the hospital. And we are now realizing that a lot of trauma is coming from, you know, being born in the hospital.
Right. I don't personally have any children, but I've wanted to have children all my life. And I've always imagined a home birth. I never had any feeling or desire or thought of having a birth in a hospital. So.
Yes, and we've been lied to about a lot of things. Like they're doing a lot of C-sections, which are not necessary. You can actually wait. The baby knows when it's time for them to come down. So even if they're there in the birth canal, this lady was telling us, like, she's seen kids, babies who it took 12 hours, but the babies know when. And so when you do a C-section, you kind of sever the hormones that are needed to bond with the mother, and like all kinds of hormones to pass through the you know, through the vagina. And it like, there's so many things that we're cutting off that are so unhealthy. And then we wonder why we're so disconnected and fragmented and all of this. So it's really important, like, to now educate people about that, but not just birth, death too. It's not normal to die in a nursing home, surrounded by one, maybe two, maybe no family members, you know? So like, we want palliative nurses who are going to go in the community and, you know, help families with the process and show them that it's not as scary. Yes, it's always sad. There's grievance, and it doesn't even have to be sad. It could be the celebration of life while the person is passing away. It could be very nice for that person too, with their kids, with their families, their pets, in their homes, in an environment that feels safer than an institution. Right. So we really want to go back to community.
Oh, I just love everything that you guys are doing and everything that you stand for. This is the future, and you're right. This is the new paradigm. I think it's really important, your message, and I'm so grateful that you guys are out there sharing all of that truth and information with everybody.
Thank you.
I'm so in alignment with all of it. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, okay, so if is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
No, I think I was just gonna say, so the website for the directory will be up in the next week or so. It's just about ready. There's a few things missing, and so people will be able to come on the website, and the public will have access to the website too. So they'll be able to find nurses in the areas that they want and the type of nurses that they want. For example, I'm doing the mental health initiative. Like, I'm going to be doing lighting up dark corners. So if someone is looking for childhood to get over their childhood trauma, they can find me. Or so there's going to be many different types of care that's going to be offered. Obviously, it's going to take time for it to grow and have people everywhere, but we're really looking forward to it. And so everyone should go and subscribe to our website, CanadianFrontlineNurses.ca.
Yes, please do that, everyone. And if you have any questions, you can comment below, and all of the links and information will be in the bottom of this video as well. So please connect with the Canadian Frontline Nurses. Will you guys be selling the books? Do you still have the Brave books? Are you selling those at your event?
We always have the Brave books. We're not selling them online. We will have a shop online once this new website goes up. But the books, we sell them wherever we are. So if we go to a rally, we have them. You know, I'm going to speak at a smaller meeting in Milton in the evening. You know, I'll bring them in. So we bring them in that way. So yeah, we always have the books.
That's good.
And we try to sign them and, you know, make it exciting.
Yeah, getting that information out there. And then you should also get this third book, because it goes along with the set. There will be a set of 4 books when I'm finished by the end of this year. Actually, there will be a set of 4 books, and they're all meant to activate that courage within us, and for us to help us find our voice, and to help us awaken, and to help us manifest the new paradigm and the new earth. Yeah. So
grateful for you for doing that too. And I'll definitely order mine right away, and we'll look into ordering some for distribution too.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, so to finish off, I just wanted to read off the last paragraph of your chapter, because I thought it was really relevant and potent. And I think that we all need to be reminded. The time has come for each and every one of us to stand in our power. You are the hero of your story. You decide what's going to happen to you. Please do not let fear take hate. Please do not let fear and hate take over humanity. Spread love and don't ever stay silent in the face of oppression. The world needs for you to be awake and stand up for what is right. It starts with you. Together we will overcome, and we will rise through the ashes of the matrix.
I love that.
Oh, I love that too. Thank you very much.
That's how I used to end all my speeches when I had them written down. You know, I'm going to have to go back and like make sure I know that by like, you know, I have to use that again at the end of my.
They're really powerful words, Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like this video, comment below if you have any questions, and share it with a friend that might need a little bit of encouragement. And also subscribe, because courage is contagious. My name is Lonnie. I am Lady Braven of the Pride. Thank you for being here, and we will see you again. Mwah!